Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to SeahawkTalk here on the SeahawkTalk Network. I'm your host, Andrew Pizzelli, and we're coming to you live on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope through Twitter. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to all those platforms to never miss a show. We've got a great one lined up for you here today. We'll be joined by Rob McGinnis, Emma Gaudio, an alumnus from our field hockey team, and Jane Walsh, the head coach of our women's soccer team. Can't wait to get to them and our producers, but first, like always, we remind you to keep your distance. Is Ed Habishaw with his rendition of Keep Your Distance by The Shake, a Rhode Island-based band with a message that we can apply worldwide. Social distancing, hand washing, mask wearing, you've heard all about it. We say it every day here on the show, but we're going to continue to remind everyone to do those simple and easy things each and every day here on the Seahawk Talk program. Want to bring in the producers now, Joey Morelli and Mike DeFusco, to help lead us off. Fellas, how are we doing? Are you hunkered down for the snowstorm?
Oh, yeah, we got our milk and bread. We're all ready to go.
Yeah, my dad did buy a bunch of food the other day. I don't know that he even remembered the snowstorm was coming. I don't know if we have milk. We might be almost out. That's
the milk. I don't know.
Tragedy.
I mean, I guess those are your bare necessities, right? Back in the day, get your milk and bread. A couple of years ago during a snowstorm, I took I didn't waste milk or bread, so I used a picture I found on the internet, but I sent it because my family's group chat, my aunts and uncles and stuff were like, oh, you guys go and get your milk and bread? So I sent a picture of it's just a bowl with milk in it and a piece of white bread sitting in it. And I said, now what? Am I doing it the right way? What am I supposed to do with the milk and bread? They all got mad at me thinking I wasted it. I was like, guys, it's from the internet, okay? It's all good.
Someone else wasted it for me.
Somebody else wasted it for me. Yes, there we go. What else do you got? What do you fellas have to lead us off here today?
Sort of following that theme, just to give people a heads up, there's a parking ban, which is, I was a couple minutes actually logging in today because I had to move my car. So there's a parking ban in Newport now, so I had to move mine off of Spring. And there's plenty of other streets that you can't park on tonight, and moving on to a side street. So I'll go through this, just show this list really quick. Yeah, so a lot of places you can't park. So Annandale, Bellevue, all the way down to Broadway, and then where mine was Spring here. And yeah, so not even Thames. So
if
pretty much
on a narrow Newport Street, move your car.
You have to park on pretty much just some small residential or a side street.
Park on the grass.
There's very few options. So it seems like the storm's going to hit us pretty hard the way they're planning.
Do you have a driveway? No.
No. Yeah. If you don't have a driveway and you're not in a residential area, move your car now.
Yeah.
In the Venn diagram of streets in Newport and streets you can't park on, it's pretty much just a circle. That's all the streets I know.
Yeah, you just got to go round and round until you finally find a spot.
Geez.
That's pretty much how it goes around here.
No, see, they don't bother that much in New Britain or in Hartford or really anywhere I've seen in Connecticut. It's just like, oh, you're parked in the street? Well, that's a darn shame. Guess we're just going to have to hit it.
No.
They're just like, if they even plow. If they plow, no mercy. Trash cans, cars, fire hydrants.
The worst was I had friends, we mentioned the Snowmageddon year, that February 2015. I had friends who lived in Boston who their cars were basically just frozen in ice blocks for a month because they had plowed the streets. They were parked legally, but they had plowed the streets, but it kept snowing so much
it built up on
that
them.
It built up, and then it just never thawed. It just snowed again and kept burying the cars. And so I had friends whose cars were just buried in snowbanks until it got warm. One of them jokingly went outside with an extension cord and a hairdryer and was pretending to melt their car out. But
Fortunately, never had anything buried by the snowplows, but trash cans.
The worst is when if you have a driveway and you're shoveling and you've cleared the end and you're working your way, and then the plow comes by, you're like, great, if you don't. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for plowing the street 9 hours after we needed to go anywhere. Thank you.
Fortunately, no, I lied. That's happened to me a couple of times. There have been times where they just like didn't plow like my part of the neighborhood, and like we had my friend's dad like come do it. Like we were just trapped. They're like, "Why weren't you at school yesterday?" It's like, well, you see, they didn't plow any of the streets near me. And they're like, you live 5 minutes away, and I'm like, I know, right?
You didn't have You didn't have the snowshoes.
Oh, it was 5 minutes by car is a lot to walk.
Yeah.
In hip-high snow. That was a fun year.
Joey,
similarly, we're keeping on the snow theme. I didn't realize the importance of this. The title of this article was deceiving to me until I actually read through it. Another thing 2020 has ruined for us, snow days. I hadn't even thought of this, but it was just an article talking about how the local like middle schools and stuff, instead of doing snow days now, they're just doing remote day. Like they can't come into school, class are online today, and like I think that's just un-American. That's heresy. You can't take that away from children.
You know how they always say, like, they talk in economics, like, oh, the market will correct. If they start having, when things are normal again and kids are always back in school, if you're going to say, hey, snow day, stay home, but we're going to do virtual, guess what's going to happen? So many more people are just going to be without power.
That's what
I don't know. We don't have power, I guess. The internet's not working. The storm. Oh, the power. The wind knocked over a power line. Oops, not going to make it. That's what'll happen.
Yeah.
So they'll try to do this for a year. It won't work.
Hopefully.
And then they'll just say, we'll give the kids the day off.
Yeah, like at least, and like I know, like around here, they were always like, you get 2 snow days a year. The first one, it's always they waste the first one on like no snow, and then they want to hold on to that last, like a timeout in football. They're like they hold on to that last one, and they're like, but the streets are covered in 3 feet of ice, and they're like, no, we need this.
Yeah.
And if they get rid of snow
they
days,
cancel for
so
nothing
sad.
now. I mean, and maybe this is me being I'm turning into the grumpy old man. But I'll see, like, the news, no school today. I'm like, it's just cold out. They're canceling because it's cold.
See?
I stood in snow and cold and waited for the bus and actually was mercifully picked up by an earlier bus. Like, my bus hadn't come yet. And they were like, your bus come yet? And I'm like, no. They're like, what bus? I was like, bus number 4. And they're like, bus number 4. We're like, oh, we're still down in Matatuxet. We'll be there in 10 minutes. They're like, oh, no, kid, get on this bus. We don't need you waiting there. But I would have had to have waited another, 20 minutes in preschool.
Yeah.
That was just how it was.
It was...
and now, I mean, I know you hear your parents, walking uphill in the snow both ways, that whole...
Yeah, walking uphill both ways.
That thing. But, I mean, legitimately now I feel like they cancel for nothing, Or they'll cancel preemptively, like, it sounds like it's going to be bad. And then the next day you're like, it's 40 degrees and it's... Okay.
Yeah, I never had that experience because, going to, I think that's a public school versus private school thing. Like private schools never close. Like waking up in the morning and watching the bottom of the TV scrolling all the schools that are closing.
Yeah.
And we were either in middle school I was at the end with S, and then I was in the middle with M, and it was always please be there, please be there, please be there, please be there, and it was never there.
Yeah. We'd wait for Narragansett. You'd see this, one school. Okay, we're getting there, and then it would do North Kingstown, but you never knew, okay, they do N Kingstown. Are they, alphabetically sorting, the N period before NA for Narragansett? So there'd be, a couple of Norths, and you wouldn't be sure if they were going to do Narragansett, and then they wouldn't do Narragansett. We'd be open, the whole state would be closed down, and we'd be going to school. Fun fact, in Rhode Island, Foster Gloucester is always, one of the first schools to always cancel. No school of Foster Gloucester, it's, for nothing. And I always wondered why. I guess it's because they don't have their own snow plows. They have to get them from another town, comes and plows their roads. So that's why whenever there's snow, they're always just closed because they're like, we're not going to be able to plow the streets. So kids aren't going to get to school on time. Just close it up. See ya.
I remember often what they'd do with us is they wouldn't cancel, but they'd be like, you can get here late and you won't get in trouble. Like there was a day where like right before that announcement got out, I was like in the car, so like I didn't know about it, and I like ran inside and I ran into the office and I'm like, I'm here, and they're like, oh yeah, no, like we're letting everyone come like 45 minutes late, and I'm like, you're kidding me. I'm like, I almost died running in here, like from the car, from the car to the office, like I almost died 3 times, and you're telling me
the day you pull the all-nighter to finish a paper and you walk in, the teacher's like, I'm going to give you guys an extra 2 days on this. You're like, no!
Yeah.
Take it today!
Yeah.
There's always moments like that. Fellas, great stuff as always. I'm going to let you guys get to work producing the show behind the scenes, and we'll talk to you again at the end of the program.
Alrighty.
That is Joey Morelli and Mike DeFusco, the producers here on Seahawk Talk. We're going to go now to our first guest, the head coach of our men's and women's cross-country teams, Rob McGinnis. Rob, how are we doing?
All right, Andrew. How are you?
Good. I want to start. We're gonna go through some images that you sent us. Last week we discussed the possibility of running memes from the running world, and you did some great detective work here. So we're gonna quickly go through all of these. Just laugh. I think all of these are just incredibly accurate. They're hysterical and they're accurate.
Yeah. Running race photos. This is always how it goes. I would much rather be the nice stealthy creature up on top, but I've got plenty of the hound dog, no doubt. So we edit out so many downstep photos.
That's the thing. It's like you have to take 10,000 photos to get like 100 good ones. You know, and that happens with us too. Taking pictures of how many times you see, people setting the ball in volleyball, making a weird face or going to hit something. You always get weird pictures. This one, I really connect with this one. Because,
absolutely.
Today, it's about to be a blizzard. It's like 17 degrees. So I was like, I can go outside. I can get a running. I can get some steps in.
Yeah, I'm guilty of this one too. Like, the lightning doesn't look too bad. I can get a couple of miles.
Also, I had an instance in riding my bike this summer where there was a thunderstorm coming, but it was moving, west to east, and I was heading east, so it was catching up to me, but I said, oh, wait, I'll get on Route 2 and head south, and I'll let the storm, I can outrun the thunderstorm. It's kind of hard to outrun Mother Nature. It moves faster than you.
It's a challenge. And now it's, luckily for me, it's treadmill season on the cold days, so I'm just going to stay inside.
This one is also apt.
Oh, yes. How many times has this happened? Yeah. Gently rolling hills and just a massive
the same with
climb.
like trail guides for hiking. One time we had a trail guide that said, oh, you're going to cross a small brook. Well, maybe on a drought season it's a small brook. It happened to rain the day before, and the babbling brook was a raging river. And so we had to take a fallen tree and rig up a whole little bridge to cross this small brook.
This also applies to courses where the description is mostly flat. What they're hiding in mostly is definitely not flat.
Course descriptions and weathermen, they try to always couch everything. 50% chance of partly cloudy scattered showers. Cover all the bases. Everything and anything could happen or not happen. Plantar fasciitis.
The late great Mr. Peanut.
So clever. I think this one might be my favorite that you sent me because it's the cleverest. Plantar fasciitis. And then lastly, this kind of goes back to that guy running away from the mountain lion that we had earlier in the year.
There's a variation on this one where Mo Farah is not in the picture, and the type is not a runner. Well, you are now.
Fantastic. Well done. On the memes. A+.
Glad you approve. I tried to. I found a lot of running memes that are kind of mean, actually, and I wasn't really looking to do those because I guess some people don't like having their friends who are runners tell them about their marathons and things like that. There were a lot along that line about. I thought, well, that's just not nice, but hey, there are some funny ones.
Well, I loved your selections. So we've got 2 other stories from the running world. We'll start with kind of like the good, not that they're bad, but the serious one, which is more records being broken. This is Jenna Hutchins, high school junior, sets the under 20 5K record. So awesome for her. Again, the times is just Fire.
Just blazing. Jenna Hutchins has had an impressive year. Earlier this year, she broke the national junior class record at 3,200 meters, which just goes to show you there are cross country and track meets happening in other parts of the country just because it's a little light where we are right now. Jenna has been doing some high caliber racing. So she broke the 3,200 meter record back in August, and then in November broke the 5K record at the cross country nationals, and now has added to that the 5K under 20 American record on the track. Very, very impressive. What stood out to me in the interview that accompanies this story is she talks about what she's been working on with her coach and some of the things that have been a focus in her training. And a lot of it has been strength and mobility. She says it's made a huge difference. And that's so true. If you want to get faster, there comes a point where you need to be stronger and more durable. And it's far easier to withstand the demands of some of the really high level training when you are stronger and can recover from it. So there's the message to my team. If they're listening, get in, do your workouts in Volt, get stronger, and then we have a chance at getting faster. But very impressive racing from Jenna Hutchins.
Unbelievable. That again, the times blow me away. If I was blown away by the 8-year-old who was running 10-minute miles, I guess I'm going to be impressed by anything else you bring to the table.
This is a seriously fast time. No doubt about it.
So this last one, just when I think, and I know I say every week you find new stories, so I guess I won't ever claim to say I've seen it all or we've seen it all here. But it's more like, well, I guess I didn't think of that. This man is running 100 miles backwards. That's a new one.
This is a new one. So this fella's name is Tracy McCullen. And I'm interested to know how his mind works, because the story notes that one day he got the idea in his head that he should run a marathon backward. And he's down in North Carolina, so he ran his local marathon backward, like as you see in the picture, looking over his shoulder or equipped with some kind of a mirror. And now he has extended that effort. He's doing it for a good cause, though. So his plan is to run 100 miles over 4 days backward on what's called the Wrightsville Beach Loop. This is down in North Carolina. He is raising money for the local chapter of the Boys and Girls Club. His vision is to build them a new track and field facility, so an outdoor track and some of the accessories that go with it. He's already raised $34,000 toward his goal, and he's got 4 days of backward running coming up to help him meet that target. I like his commentary on it, though. The reporter asked him how it was to run backward that much, or how hard it was, and he said it's just like anything else. You do it one step at a time.
I feel like this man. You asked me, well, how does his mind work? He's a very free spirit. I'm gonna gander.
I get that sense about him, but really, that's a great idea. Certainly something novel and unique in the running world, and I hope he gets it. He's already raised $34,000, which is pretty impressive. But that's great if the Boys and Girls can take advantage of that club, get a brand new track and field facility as part of the deal, then it's a lot of backward running for a very good cause.
Do we think we'll see any sort of trend setting here? I mean, will we see like going off at 8 a.m. is the backwards Boston Marathon, or is this kind of like a one-off? You know, there's not enough Tracys in the world to want to make it a bigger event.
There may not be enough Tracys in the world to make this into a thing, but never say never. I mean, think of all the various types of competitions we have and speed records for things like beer miles and blue jeans miles and all kinds of stuff like that. There might be
dressed up in a turkey suit.
Dressed up in a turkey suit. So the backwards running events might yet be a thing. I don't know, though, Andrew. I have a tough enough time getting through my workout going forward and staying on my feet. Just thinking back to when I used to coach like youth basketball, and when I'd be officiating, and backpedaling down the court was enough of a challenge for me. I can't imagine 25 miles.
I know enough people who would trip and fall walking, going forward, that I would not even want them to see this to get any ideas in their head.
No way.
Last question, Rob. We had we talked a lot about the snowstorm and snow days at the top of the show with the producers, and it seems out of those conversations I always kind of come up with a question of the day for our guests. So I'll ask you, What are any snow day memories that you have? You think back to being a kid and be like, oh, the snow day. What's something maybe that jumps out right away to you?
Oh, as I was listening to you and the producers, I was thinking of a horrifying drive home one night on a day that turned out not to be a snow day. I was in high school and we used to run indoor track meets down at Southern Connecticut State University in New Haven. And I went to Xavier, and those meets were at night. So they would start at like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And one night while we were in the meet, it snowed, and it snowed hard. And there was a lot of snow when we came out at probably 2 in the morning. And I got in my car. I had my Pontiac Bonneville. It was a tank. And if there was ever a car that I wanted to be in driving on the Merritt Turnpike in the snow, it would be that one. But I was white knuckle the whole way home from New Haven back up to Middletown and terrified because I was like 16 or 17 and I hadn't done that much snow driving. And there I was like hanging on for dear life. Got a couple hours of sleep and woke up to find that they had cleared the roads and that we were not having a snow day. Fantastic. So got up and drove to school.
Oh, man. That's too much. Anyway, Rob, great stuff as always. Always appreciate you taking the time to come on with great material each and every week. Hope you stay healthy and warm in the week ahead, and we'll catch up with you again next week before Christmas.
Thanks, Andrew. Talk to you soon.
All right, that's Rob McGinnis, the head coach of our men's and women's cross country team. We're going to go next to an alumnus from our field hockey team, Emma Gaudio. Welcome to the show, Emma. How are you doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good. I want to start with your time at Salve, and let's talk first just about what it was like for you, what your experience was like being a student athlete, balancing that classroom with the playing field.
I always thought it was really nice for time management. Like I learned to do my work and then enjoy playing on the team. I'm not going to say it wasn't stressful, but there were many days I was on the bus studying in the back before games, and somehow it all works out. It's nice to have the balance of both when you're at school. So I got all the tough work in, but then I got to enjoy myself with my teammates on the field.
Yeah.
So it was worth it.
What do you remember most from your time being on the field hockey team?
Probably the bus rides. I remember our sophomore year, our buses just kept breaking down. So there was a lot of nights we'd be pulled over on the side of the road, but we all enjoyed ourselves and we got to spend a little more time together. So it was fun.
So, I mean, what would happen in those situations? I mean, now everybody's got a phone, but I mean, for me, even when I was in high school, not every kid had a phone. So when the bus broke down, it was like pandemonium. It was like when you stayed up too late as a kid, it was just like madness. What would happen on the buses when they would break down?
I think in the beginning we were like, whoa, what's going on? But by the end, when it was happening a lot, we were just like, oh, we just want to get home. We're tired. We're sweaty. Like, let's go. Yeah.
Right now, you're working as a nurse, which is incredible. Thank you so much for the work you're doing. Everybody working on the front lines, it's an incredibly demanding job, and you guys are all doing amazing work. What has that experience been like for you? Talk about your work right now.
Well, thank you so much for all like the thoughts and everything. Mostly, I think I work in postpartum, so I do moms and babies after delivery. So a lot of our patients, we haven't seen a lot of COVID positive patients. And if they're really severe cases, they go to other units. So I think I've been really lucky with having the fewer cases and just like more, we do a lot of testing with our patients. So it's nice. It's a reassurance that we know that our patients are not COVID positive. I want to thank like all the other nurses who are working really hard in the ICUs and in the ERs, and they see like the worst of the worst. But it's been a challenge, definitely, but it's also been really rewarding seeing all the patients and giving them pieces of mind. And it's nice working closely with the families.
Yeah. Salve's renowned for its nursing program, how rigorous it is. I don't think anybody went to school planning to be graduating and then working in a pandemic. But how much of your time at Salve, of your education and being in the nursing program, have you kind of drawn on, and what maybe did prepare you for anything that you're going through right now?
I think all the teachers I had really prepared us for just being in the moment and learning on the job. I think what we learn at school is a lot of knowledge that prepares us for what we have to do, but it's like any job. When you get there, you have to learn all the new stuff and how to work with different people and how to communicate with doctors and all that fun stuff. But Salve does a great job of preparing their students for the real world and what it's going to be like in the hospitals and all that stuff.
So you still do have some free time, I imagine, even if it's just to come home and take a breath. But what do you like to do in your spare time?
Well, since I can't really travel that much with my job, I try to like keep reading books that are entertaining to me. I've tried to watch a lot, probably watch too much TV, and I've been working on my knitting.
Yeah. Anything to show? Is there anything within arm's reach? Show anything off, or is nothing ready for prime time?
I just packaged 2 scarves that I made for the little girls I used to babysit, or I'd show you, but right now I have like a little strip of a scarf going. I'm not very good.
It's the thought and the action. Everybody needs something right now.
Yeah.
So to be doing anything is awesome. Have you ever considered? I mean, nursing right now highly demanding. I know it's demanding even in normal times. Ever any thought down the road and interested in coaching and staying involved in the field hockey world?
I reached out to my club team when I first got home, but I just felt like I work nights, so it's a little hard.
Yeah.
I would love to get back involved, and I really miss the sport, but I just don't know on what level right now. I think I need one more year to just like figure it out, and then hopefully COVID will be over and we'll go back into the real world a little bit.
Absolutely. I'll let you coach a little bit here on the show, though. If you had any message for this year's team, what would it be?
I'm really proud of the girls, and I think they've done a wonderful job of keeping their spirits up during this time. Like I've talked to some of my teammates, and I've gotten to see a little bit of their practices from Instagram, and I'm just happy they were able to play together, even though if it was just like small groups or something. It's just nice to be able to see your team, and I think I wish the seniors had a better senior year, but I think they persevered and they had fun for what they had. Yeah. So I think that's awesome.
We kind of had this discussion pre-show with our producers and then with Rob. We kind of always develop, there's a question of the day that starts to always come out of all of our conversations. And with the impending snowstorm, I'm going to ask everybody today, what are your snow day memories? Anything from childhood, anything that sticks out as a big snow day memory?
I have a big family. I'm one of 5, and we live in a small neighborhood. So I just remember being a little kid and my dad getting us all dressed up in our snow gear, and we had to go and shovel our neighbors out from the snow. So I just picture all of us with our snow shovels. I probably wasn't the most helpful. I probably walked home after a little bit, but that always sticks in my mind.
Now, you have a bunch of brothers, right? So were there a lot of snowball fights?
Probably too many to remember, and I probably always lost because they would gang up on me. But yeah, they probably were.
Awesome. Emma, thank you so much for taking the time. Again, thank you for the work you're doing on the front lines. Everyone appreciates that you guys are doing great work. Hope you have a healthy, happy, and safe holiday. And hopefully we'll see you at a field hockey game soon, cheering on the team.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Take it easy now. That's Emma Gaudio, an alumnus from our field hockey team. We're going to take a short break and be right back with the head coach of our women's soccer team, Jane Walsh. Don't go anywhere.
So you want to be a Seahawk? Let's make sure you wash your hands, keep your distance, wear your mask, and love your Seahawks.
Sammy, no mask?
Come on, Sammy. I know it's pumpkin spice season, but you can't bring drinks to class.
We have simple rules here, Sammy. Get out. Come back when you can follow them.
You gotta take care of yourself and others, even if you are Sammy the Seahawk.
Welcome back to Seahawk Talk. I'm your host, Andrew Pizzelli. I want to go now to the head coach of our women's soccer team, Jane Walsh. Jane, welcome back to the show. How are we?
Hi, Andrew. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I want to start first with a story that we learned about, I think, yesterday or earlier today, and it just got posted on the Salve Athletics website. It's about one of your players, keeper
Mm-hmm.
Jenna Park. She started a fundraising campaign to help aid the homeless during the holidays, trying to raise money to put together care packages for them. Just absolutely amazing. I'll just kind of let you take the floor and talk about Jenna and this fundraising effort, just anything at all that you'd want to share about this.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jenna approached me just, I think, 2 days ago at this point, just sharing that she was going to put together a little fundraiser to help raise some money to create some care packages for homeless shelters within the Rhode Island community. She's a Rhode Island native, and I think, right now with all of the pressures of COVID and the holiday seasons coming up, she just thought, hey, now's a good time for me to kind of help out and give back. And so when she approached me about it, and the team collectively, I don't think she really had the understanding of how large this could potentially get. I think her original goal was about $250, and now her goal has gone up to $700 because she's well surpassed that 250. So we will see how far it goes, but I'm just so proud of her for taking time out of her busy schedule, especially right now at the end of the semester during finals week, to try to organize something for people that are less fortunate than us.
I think it's just amazing. And I guess speak specifically, I mean, how proud are you of her specifically and coming to you and somebody who's a younger player and just having the just drive to want to get something and start something like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's incredibly impressive. She had a vision of what she wanted to do, and I think she's still kind of figuring it all out and putting it together as more opportunities are opening up for her. But I'm incredibly proud. I was having conversations with my family, and I think everybody's got something to be proud of, and at a point in my life, that was, for me, that was being an athlete and being able to get out there and do well in the weight room and do well on the field and get involved with events like this. And obviously now those things don't really apply, although I do still try to crush the weight room a little bit. But the one, nothing quite gives me that same return on investment, I guess you could say, except for my players. And this is a great example of just how much pride that gives me, and that sense of fulfillment, and just watching her be successful and doing what I can to help her be successful in areas that have very little to do with soccer.
Yeah. Anybody who's interested in giving to this GoFundMe page, if you go to Salve Athletics on Twitter or the Salve Athletics website, you can find the story right there. It's got all the information about how you can give and what they're looking for in the care packages. Some of the things that Jenna listed out: bar soap, razors, lotion, shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, hand sanitizer. Everybody needs that.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of other personal care items as well. So simple things, easy things for the rest of us to go and get. Simple things for most of us, but there are those who can't get those. So again,
Right.
it's just awesome. Um, how inspiring is it too to see, kind of just more in general, so many of our athletes and the students at Salve, and it seems all around. I mean, we see the stories coming from the CCC and around the country. We hear a lot about the negative things happening on, but it seems so many people, and especially the younger kids, are just taking this opportunity to do these things like advocate for education and voting rights and social justice and just giving back their time and volunteering. How inspiring is it to see that next? I know me and you don't like to think that there's the next generation yet, but how inspiring it is to see these kids really kind
Yeah.
of stepping up to the plate here with this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's so cool to watch. And like you said, very inspiring. I don't know what it is about this new era of young people, but they are just so willing to mobilize, for a cause. And I see that within my program. I see that within our athletics department and just at the university in general. And so, I also think Salve provides a really good environment for students to be able to do these types of things, to get behind this type of stuff to step up and help out. And I think it's just kind of ingrained in our mission and what we are all about here at Salve. So maybe we're just surrounded by a ton of people that, are like-minded at Salve, because that's definitely the type of people that we look to attract. I don't know, or maybe it's just kind of a new movement, in our society, our young people kind of stepping up and taking control and, seeing things that they like or they don't like and trying to do something about it.
Is this all kind of the silver lining? I hate to use that term, but it's the best one I could come up with. Or the other side of the coin of this situation where there's a pandemic and there's no games, and this whole year has been unsettled for a number of reasons. But the bright side of it is things like this. It's given kids the opportunity to step up in those moments, or it's given us as coaches the opportunity to. We're not focused on games, but we have the chance now to focus on each of the athletes and to grow as people and work on these other sort of off the field things. Whereas even if there were still games happening, maybe that wouldn't have happened and you would have just kind of soldiered on.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I think when you strip away, everything that, COVID in 2020 has stripped away, you're left with, just people, just individuals trying to find another way to thrive and to, fill those gaps, fill in the areas that, activities they used to be able to do, and they're missing right now, used to fill. And it gives them just the opportunity to do something different, maybe something they've always had an interest in or, always kind of thought about, but maybe, like I said, never really had the time. And, I know personally when I'm in it in the middle of the season, it's hard to remember, to do all of these things and incorporate, fundraisers and volunteering and community service. It's hard to get that all on the schedule and get, 30 some odd people all on board to go and do this, because everybody's got hectic schedules and we're right in the thick of it. So it, in a way, especially now at the end of the year, kind of reflecting back on, what 2020 has brought us and specifically what this past fall has brought us, it is kind of nice. It's kind of nice to be able to just kind of relax, strip it all down, like I said, and kind of just focus on a different side of who we are.
I've asked this question of all of our guests here today, and I already know one of these for you. So I'm not going to let you pick, even though it's a great snow day memory, your game at Keene. I know that probably jumps right to the top.
Yeah.
We're gonna put the little asterisk next to that.
Okay.
And we'll focus on pre-college, so high school and earlier snow day memories. Anything that sticks out?
Yeah, I mean, a ton. So I used to live in Connecticut. I grew up on the very western side of Connecticut in a little town called New Fairfield, close to Danbury, and we lived in a very hilly and valley-y town. But specifically, we lived kind of like on the side of a very large hill or a small mountain, I guess you could say. And so, we just had this epic backyard for little kids. I was no older than 10. This huge hill, kind of going right down into a huge landing and then kind of out into the woods. So I remember constantly, going outside with my brother on snow days and sledding down that hill or playing other weird, like imaginary games in the snow. And in fact, recreating, scenes from certain like snow day type movies that we really used to love to watch, A Christmas Story, that was a big one for us. So recreating, scenes from that. So just kind of like being outside, and spending time in the snow and just, playing with my siblings or friends. But, definitely that big hill, that's one that'll stick in my memory forever.
You mentioned recreating scenes from Christmas Story. Were you forced to go lick the light pole and get your tongue stuck?
No, thank God. No, we recreated mainly just the siblings, so Randy and Ralphie. And he's older than I am, so my brother was Randy and I was Ralphie, and flip that. My brother was Ralphie and I was Randy, and we would just recreate scenes from the movie.
Awesome. I think, all of us have those memories of kids of being in the snowstorm. And I think, because I mentioned it, the game at Keene, being in the snow. I think snow is one of those things that does not matter, and you see it at pro sports too. And these are guys who are maybe in their 30s, some cases maybe even in their 40s. And when it's snowing during a sporting event, everybody, coaches, it's like you're a little kid again, right? Snow's just one of those things that kind of just you forget how old you are when you're a part of snow.
Well, it totally changes the atmosphere, and the literally and the environment, and so it's kind of cool, it's just another added layer to the game, and a challenge, but still, something that you kind of look forward to because it's a good challenge to overcome, and sometimes it's absolutely miserable, but for the most part, it's kind of cool. It makes it a different experience.
Awesome. There we go.
There it is. There it is. Yeah, it's taking me back.
That's just epic. I mean, most kids, right? I'm sure, and maybe you did this in high school. It's a snow day. Oh, for us it was football with my buddies. Let's get together and play a game of football in the snow. Most people only fantasize about those sorts of things. You actually get to play a game. If we can pull that picture up again, maybe. You actually got to be in a game like that, which is just that's the stuff of legend.
It was epic. It was absolutely epic. And this game for us, if we won, then that means we went undefeated in the regular season. So we were playing Western Connecticut, and they are, we're in the LECs at the time. So it was a big game for us because it meant that we would go into playoffs as the number 1 seed, completely undefeated. As far as conference is concerned, on the regular season, and just super exciting. We were so confident going into it, and I think from my perspective and my teammates' perspective, the snow just made it that much more exciting. So it was definitely bitter cold. The game ended a bit early, so at that time there was a rule where if it's extreme weather, you have to complete. I think it's like 70 or 75% of the game in order for it to count. So I think instead of 90 minutes, we played close to 70 minutes, something like that. But I just remember going into the locker room at halftime and just being totally frozen. The game stops, your adrenaline starts to kind of like simmer down just a little bit, and you realize like just how cold you are in that moment. But it was also on Halloween. So I think this was Halloween 2011, I think it was.
Well, I want to know too, Jane. I mean, so are you coming in for the tackle here, or did you get fouled? What was happening in this play? Were there any cards assessed? There's a lot of contact there.
Yeah, there is. Definitely coming in for the tackle right now. In fact, I'm pretty sure. So she was, I just have this vivid memory. She was their striker, and so she was obviously pretty close to our penalty area at this time. And so you have to make close contact. There's no room for error there. So I didn't want to give her a lot of space, and might have been a little bit notorious for being physical. So this is evidence of that.
Awesome. Jane, thank you so much. Always appreciate you taking the time each week. Hope you have a healthy, happy, safe, enjoyable weekend ahead, and we'll catch up with you again next week.
Sounds good. Thank you, Andrew.
All right, take it easy now. That's Jane Walsh, the head coach of our women's soccer team. We're going to take a very short break and be back with the producers to wrap up today's show. Don't go anywhere.
So you want to be a Seahawk? Let's make sure you wash your hands, keep your distance, wear your mask, and love your Seahawks.
Sammy, no mask?
Come on, Sammy. I know it's pumpkin spice season, but you can't bring drinks to class.
We have simple rules here, Sammy. Get out. Come back when you can follow them.
You gotta take care of yourself and others, even if you are Sammy the Seahawk.
Welcome back to Seahawk Talk. I'm your host, Andrew Pizzelli. Want to bring in the producers now, Joey Morelli and Mike DeFusco, to help close out today's program. Fellas, I always like to get your thoughts first on anything that our guests had to say during today's show.
Well, I really did want to bring up the Rob McGinnis story again with the guy running backwards. However, I think a much more inspiring and pressing story came up that I think we should talk about, as you see right here, the Jenna Park fundraiser. I mean, that's awesome. So that someone was, even like the small things like that, like what if everyone started doing that? And that's just, to me, that shows like anyone can kind of contribute and give back. It doesn't matter where you are, how small a state you're in.
Yeah. Or how young you are. You can't, you don't have to be like, I mean, as we've seen, there's a 10-year-old, or not even, like a 9-year-old in England running a mile every day to help raise money for charity. I mean, he's 8 or 9, however. So it does not matter. At any age, it doesn't matter. So, yeah, all of these are just amazing and really, really impressed by what Jen has started. And hopefully, I think we're going to try and get her on the show as well at some point here, before the holiday break to check in and see how this is going. So that'd be really awesome as well.
That would be.
Joey, do you have any notes from any of our guests here today?
I mean, that was obviously like I think the highlight of this episode. I think it was funny. I was talking in the comments about it a little bit with Coach McGinnis. I knew he was from Connecticut. I didn't know he went to Xavier. They were like rivals with my school. I don't know if they were like when he went, but like we are now because the pool is limited on who you can compete against. Yeah. But that was cool. I just didn't know that. It's like small world stuff like that.
You're in West Hartford, right?
I went to school in West Hartford, yeah. So okay. I live in New Britain, but it's all of Connecticut, like Rhode Island. All of it's like 10 minutes away. So like, he was like 20 minutes from me, probably.
Yeah, all of it's 10 minutes away, unless you have to get on the highway, and then it's 3 hours away.
Yeah.
What else do you fellas have here to close out today's program? Any interesting stories or tidbits?
Quick little tidbit here. I love listicles. I feel like I bring in a fair amount of these onto the show. So there's this cool one I saw, considering it's pretty timely since a lot of people will be shipping packages. So how to keep them safe from holiday thieves. Don't let the deliveries linger too long on your doorstep. That was the first one that popped into my head. So obviously, take them off your doorstep as soon as you can. So place a hold on packages and mail if you're away. So on that one, didn't know you could just put them on hold. So learn new stuff every day. You just this is why you gotta have good neighbors, honestly. Don't make your neighbors mad, or they might be the ones to steal it. So definitely stay connected with your neighbors. Get a video doorbell.
Wait, hold on. Can we go back? Is that stay connected with your neighbors because, like, if they're mad at you, they'll steal you, or stay connected so that they can keep an eye out
use the neighbors app.
Keep an eye out. And I guess, Joey, it's a free app.
What you do instead is you just you tell your neighbors when you go on vacation, and then they just get your mail for you. That's what we would do. So that, because if mail's piling up.
For a minute, I thought we scrolled past it quick. I thought it was recommending, like, hey, be nice to your neighbors, or they'll steal your packages.
Oh,
which I guess is still true. It's not on here, but it's
true. That is valid. Yeah, very valid. The next one, get a video doorbell. I mean, yes, safe, but I don't like the video doorbells like the Ring. Those things kind of creep me out. So funny, I guess, though. I guess maybe temporary. You can always turn them off, and I believe that was the last one. Or no, do we have one more? No, that's it. So
this is like a paid ad for Ring, really, because that's what the neighbors app is. It's the Ring one. Now
get
Ring has the best videos. I just yesterday saw a video. It was a guy. He came up and he was looking all sketchy, and he tried the door, and then he goes up to the camera and he did some sort of I don't know what he did, but some sort of magic trick where he made a ball disappear, and he just goes magic, and then he runs away, and that's it's wild. I want a video doorbell for that exact reason.
Just to constantly be watching.
You got it. Yeah.
When at first you brought up, I saw the link in the headline for the story. I just in my head picturing holiday thieves. I was just picturing the guys from Home Alone. I was picturing bandits. Joe Pesci. Walking around looking for Christmas packages.
Every time you say Joe Pesci, I forget he's in that movie. It blows my mind every time. I'm like, that's Joe Pesci.
He filmed Goodfellas and then Home Alone. Those movies came out within about 4 months of each other. Talk about as disparate, like totally different tone and
Joe
acting,
Pesci and
everything.
Goodfellas.
Joe Pesci, really good comedic actor. I mean, he's got some comedic chops, and also can be incredibly terrifying as a mobster. There's not many that can do both.
No, yeah. I was going to say, Joe Pesci and Goodfellas would have no problem breaking into that house in Home Alone. Yeah, so
no, Joe Pesci would be standing outside. He'd be holding, he'd have his shine box out in front of the ring. Hey, you want me to shine your shoes in there? Come on. Anyway.
Yeah.
Cool stuff. Yeah. Ed jumps in. You think I'm funny? Funny how? Quick note on that for those that know Goodfellas and that whole thing. No, tell me how I'm funny. Am I like a clown? I did that to somebody. Like somebody, I was telling a story in a group, and they said, "Oh, you're funny." And I was like, "Whoa, what do you mean? What do you mean I'm funny?" And they had never seen Goodfellas, so I did the whole thing, but they weren't laughing. They thought I was being serious, and it went right over their head. I went through the whole thing that Pesci does, and they just got really concerned and walked away, and everybody else was like trying to not laugh.
But that's how the bit goes. Like that's how
and they were like, "Are you gonna tell them?" And I was like, "I honestly don't think I can at this point because then I'm even more." But if they're watching now or ever see this now, they'll be like, "Wait a minute!" Or if they ever saw Goodfellas after that, they went, "No."
You just gotta roll with it.
You always gotta be careful when you try to pull pranks like that. Sometimes people, like with April Fool's jokes, you try to like make a joke with somebody, and if they buy too much on the gag, you kind of have to like just go with it because like, oh man, it's honestly worse now if I fess up because they bit so hard. So anyway. Fellas, great work as always here today on the show. Hope you guys stay warm tonight through the blizzard, and we'll check in with you. We'll get a full weather report from Mike tomorrow. Maybe we need you out there with the ruler telling us how much snow we get.
Oh, I can do that. We'll definitely stay safe, everyone, for sure. It's gonna be crazy. I hope it will be because we need one. We need, like Joey said, or actually two good snowstorms.
You
get two. That's
right.
it.
Awesome, fellas. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
All right.
That is Joey Morelli and Mike DeFusco, the producers here on Seahawk Talk. I want to thank all of our guests here today. Once again, we had Rob McGinnis, Emma Gaudio, an alumnus from our field hockey team, and Jane Walsh, as always, here on the program on a Wednesday. Big thanks to them. We are live every single day, Monday through Friday, 3 to 4 p.m. here on the Salve Athletics Network. That is through Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope through Twitter. Like, follow, and subscribe to all those platforms to never miss a show. You can also go back and watch any past episode of the show on those platforms. And you can also take Seahawk Talk on the go by subscribing through Sounder FM or wherever you get your podcasts from. That'll do it for us here today. Hope you guys all have a safe, healthy, and warm evening. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. I'm Andy Pizzelli. Have a good night.